Greetings, program. Welcome back to AI for Solopreneurs, the AI Hat podcast. I'm Mike Allton, and today I want to talk about something that happened to me just last week that perfectly captures, I think, the solopreneur struggle. Picture this. You're sitting in a medical center waiting room in downtown St. Louis, laptop balanced on your knees, armed with caffeine and what you think is a bulletproof plan to finally solve your content creation bottleneck. You've been researching AI agents for weeks. You've got your AI assistant helping you strategize, and you're convinced you've cracked the code. 3 hours later, you're staring at a Zapier workflow that looks like a NASA mission control diagram, wondering where your life went wrong and why the AI just invented podcast quotes that never existed. If you've ever felt like AI promises one thing and delivers something completely different, you're definitely not alone. And if you've ever started what seemed like a simple automation project, only to find yourself 3 rabbit holes deep with nothing to show for it, well, welcome to my Tuesday morning. Today, we're going to talk about why that frustration is actually the key to building something better, your very own AI co-founder that actually works.
Mike's got the hat, the AI kind. Unlocking power in business you'll find. Cut through the hype, explore the tech. Every week, new ideas to check. Allton leads us on a digital quest. AI secrets he'll always invest. Tune in tight, don't miss a beat. Knowledge groove, keep you on your feet. Listen up to the AI flow, business growth, here we go. Cutting edge insights, that's the plan. With the AI hat, you'll understand.
Here's what really gets me. You know you're smart. You've built a business from scratch. You've figured out marketing, sales, operations. You're basically a one-person army, but then you sit down to automate one simple task, and suddenly you feel like you need a computer science degree just to make 2 systems talk to each other. Last week, I had what I thought was a brilliant idea. Take my podcast transcripts, feed them into an AI agent, and have it automatically create social media posts, newsletter content, and blog drafts. One transcript goes in, and a complete content galaxy comes out. The classic solopreneur dream, right? Work smarter, not harder. So there I was, in that waiting room while my wife was getting an MRI, diving into Zapier's new AI assistant feature. The vision was crystal clear. The execution? Well, let's just say the AI hallucinated episode numbers that didn't exist, wrote in generic, hype-filled language that missed my brand voice by about 3 solar systems, and suggested video segments that were completely irrelevant to the actual content. But here's the thing. That hour and a half of pure frustration taught me something crucial about what's really happening in the solopreneur world right now. We're all comparing ourselves to these AI success stories we see online. Someone posts about their fully automated content pipeline or their AI assistant that handles everything, and we think we're behind. We think we're missing something obvious. We think everyone else has figured out the secret sauce and we're just not smart enough. What if I told you that struggling with AI isn't a sign you're doing it wrong? What if it's actually proof you're doing it right? Because here's what I've discovered after talking to hundreds of solopreneurs over the past year. We're all haunted by the same 3 missing partners. And until we acknowledge these ghosts, we'll keep building solutions that don't actually solve anything. Ghost number 1, the strategic sounding board. This is the partner who listens to your wild ideas and asks the tough questions you avoid asking yourself. The one who can look at your business data and say, hey, what if you're optimizing for the wrong metric? Or have you considered that your real competition isn't who you think it is? When you don't have this partner, you end up making critical business decisions in an echo chamber. You second guess yourself into paralysis, or worse, you charge ahead with strategies that feel right but aren't actually moving the needle. I see this all the time. Solopreneurs spending months perfecting a product launch when their real problem is they don't have enough traffic to launch to. Or obsessing over conversion rates when they should be focusing on retention. Without that strategic voice, you're playing chess with yourself and wondering why you keep losing. Ghost number 2, the Brainstorming Buddy. This is your creative partner who helps you break through those 2 a.m. staring contests with blank screens. The one who can take your half-formed idea for a blog post and help you find the angle that makes it irresistible. Without this creative collaboration, content creation becomes this grinding, soul-crushing chore. You sit down to write a newsletter and spend 3 hours crafting 2 paragraphs that sound like they were written by a committee of accountants. You know you have valuable insights to share, but getting them out of your head and into compelling content feels like performing surgery on yourself. One entrepreneur told me last month, I spend more time staring at my cursor blinking than I do actually writing. That's the creative isolation talking. Ghost number 3, the diligent assistant. This is the operator who handles what I call the admin avalanche, the scheduling, the invoicing, the social media posting, the email sorting, the calendar juggling, the endless stream of necessary but non-revenue generating tasks that consume what research shows is about 70% of a solopreneur's time. Without this operational support, you're trapped in what I call the hamster wheel of productivity. You're busy all day. You're checking things off lists. You feel productive, but at the end of the week, you realize you haven't actually moved your business forward. You've just maintained it. And here's the brutal truth. When you're playing all 3 of these roles simultaneously, burnout isn't a risk. It's a mathematical certainty. Let's talk about the solution that can fill those missing seats at your boardroom table. But first, I need to be completely honest about what went wrong in that waiting room and why it's actually good news for all of us. My Zapier experiment failed for 3 specific reasons, and understanding these reasons is the key to building AI systems that actually work. First, I tried to make one AI wear too many hats. Sound familiar? I asked a single AI agent to analyze content, understand my brand voice, identify the best segments, create social posts, and generate newsletter content. That's like asking your accountant to also be your creative director, your marketing manager, and your social media coordinator. Even humans can't do that well. Second, I didn't constrain the AI enough. I gave it vague instructions like create engaging social content instead of specific actionable prompts like extract one surprising statistic from this transcript and write a LinkedIn post that starts with here's something that will surprise you and ends with a question. Third, the most important rule, AI simplifies your systems. It doesn't create them. I was asking AI to build my content strategy instead of helping me execute a strategy I'd already designed. But here's why this is actually encouraging. Once you understand these principles, building an AI co-founder becomes straightforward. You're not trying to create artificial general intelligence in Zapier. You're building a team of specialized AI assistants, each with one specific job they do exceptionally well. Think about it like the ancient guild system in medieval times. You didn't have one person who was a blacksmith, a baker, and a candlestick maker. You had specialists. The blacksmith was incredible at working with metal, but could burn your bread every time. The baker could create amazing loaves, but couldn't forge a horseshoe to save his life. Your AI co-founder works the same way. One AI assistant handles research and analysis. Another specializes in content creation. A third manages operations and scheduling. Each one has clear boundaries, specific instructions, and defined success metric. And here's the beautiful part. Unlike human specialists, your AI assistants work 24/7, never get tired, never ask for raises, and never have interpersonal conflicts with each other. Now, before we dive into how to build this, let's talk about what your AI co-founder can and cannot do, because understanding these boundaries isn't limiting, it's liberating. So what can AI do exceptionally well? Well, it can process massive amounts of information faster than any human. I can feed my AI assistant a 10,000-word transcript and get a detailed analysis in 30 seconds that would take me an hour to create manually. It can maintain perfect consistency. Once I teach my AI assistant my brand voice and content style, it never has an off day. It doesn't create content that sounds different because it's Monday morning or Friday afternoon. And it can work continuously without fatigue. While I'm sleeping, my AI can be analyzing competitor content, researching industry trends, or generating first drafts for my review. It can handle the repetitive tasks that drain your creative energy. Things like formatting content for different platforms, researching content information, or creating social media variations of the same core message. But here's what AI cannot do, and this is crucial. It cannot replace your unique perspective and experience. Your AI assistant might be able to research your industry, but it can't understand the nuanced challenges your specific clients face based on years of working with them. It cannot build genuine relationships. AI can help you craft better emails and social posts, but it can't have that authentic conversation with a potential client that builds real trust and connection. It cannot make strategic decisions that require intuition and wisdom. AI can analyze data and present you options, but it can't factor in your risk tolerance, your long-term vision, or your personal values when making big business decisions. Think about it like the relationship between a master chef and their sous chef. The sous chef can prepare ingredients, follow recipes, and handle routine cooking tasks, but they can't create the vision for a new dish, adapt to unexpected ingredient shortages, or make the final seasoning adjustments that turn good food into something measurable. You're the master chef of your business. Your AI co-founder is your incredibly capable sous chef team. All right, let's get practical. How do you actually build this thing? I'm going to walk you through the exact 4-step process that works based on my own successes and my spectacular failures. Step 1, the brutally honest time audit. Before you can fix anything, you need to know exactly where your time is going. For 1 full week, not the week you plan to be more organized, but a real, typical week, track every task you do and how long it takes. Grab a free worksheet to guide you through this at theaihat.com/scalability. At the end of the week, categorize everything into 3 buckets. Revenue generating. These are activities that directly bring in money. Business building. Activities that grow your capabilities or reach. And administrative operations. Everything else that keeps the lights on but doesn't move the needle. Most solopreneurs are shocked by this audit. They think they're spending 60% of their time on revenue generation when the reality is closer to 30%. The rest gets consumed by business maintenance, necessary but not transformative. That free worksheet was at theaihat.com/scalability. Step 2, pick your first victory. Do not try to automate your entire business at once. I learned this the hard way in that medical center waiting room. Look at your time audit and find the single most repetitive, time-consuming task in your administrative operations bucket. Maybe it's writing social media posts for the same blog content. Maybe it's formatting and scheduling emails. Maybe it's researching podcast guests or creating meeting summaries. Pick just one task that you do regularly that follows a predictable pattern and that you honestly kind of dread doing. This is your first automation target, and it needs to meet what I call the simple success criteria. It should save you at least 30 minutes per week. It should be something that you do at least twice a week, and the output should be something that you can easily review and approve. Now, step 3, deconstruct like you're training an intern. Here's where most people go wrong. They try to teach AI the way they'd explain something to an experienced colleague, but AI needs instructions like you're training a very smart but completely inexperienced intern. Take that one task and break it down into tiny, specific steps. Write it out as if you were creating a training manual for someone who has never seen your business before. For example, if your task is create social media posts from blog content, don't just say, make it engaging. Instead, you have to write something like, read the entire blog post. Identify the 3 most surprising or counterintuitive points. Create one LinkedIn post for each point that starts with, here's something that might surprise you about topic. Includes one specific statistic or example from the post, asks a question at the end, and includes 3 relevant hashtags. The more specific you are here, the better your AI will perform. Think of this as building a recipe, not giving cooking advice. Step 4, build and test your AI assistant. Now comes the fun part. Take that detailed instruction manual and turn it into a custom AI assistant using a tool like ChatGPT, Claude, or Google Gemini. You'll create a custom instruction set that teaches the AI its role, its specific responsibilities, the tone of voice to use, and the exact steps to follow. You're essentially cloning your expertise for that one task. Here's a simple template to get you started. You are, specific role, assistant. Your job is to, specific task, for my business, which focuses on your niche. When I provide you with specific input, you should, step-by-step process. Your tone should be specific voice description, and your output should always include specific requirements. Before finalizing anything, always quality check process. Then test it. Give it real examples from your business and see what happens. The first attempt probably won't be perfect, and that's completely normal. Refine the instructions, test again, refine again. Most of my successful AI assistants went through 5 to 7 iterations before they were consistently producing output I was happy with. Step 5, the integration reality check. This is the step most people skip, and it's why so many AI experiments fail, so don't skip this. You need to figure out how this AI assistant fits into your actual workflow. Where will you access it? How will you provide input? Where will the output go? How will you review and approve when it creates? How will you track whether it's actually saving you time? For my podcast prep assistant, I created a simple Google Doc template where I paste guest information and the AI generates research summaries and interview questions. I review and edit them every Monday afternoon, then add them to my production calendar and share with the guest. Simple, predictable, measurable. Let me share what happened when I finally got this right, because the transformation was honestly bigger than I expected. Before I built that interview prep assistant, I was spending about 2 hours per episode doing guest research, creating questions, and preparing show notes. It was detailed, thorough work, but also the kind of grinding research that I kept putting off until the last minute. My AI assistant now handles the initial research phase, analyzes guests' recent content, and generates thoughtful interview questions based on their expertise and our audience's needs. That 2-hour process became a 20-minute review and refinement session. But here's the bigger impact. That time savings allowed me to expand from running one podcast to 4 different shows for Agorapulse, each targeting different audience segments, plus launching the AI Hat podcast. What would have been an impossible workload became completely manageable. Years ago, I struggled with AI-generated content that sounded generic and corporate. I'd spend hours going back and forth, trying to get the AI to capture my conversational, slightly irrelevant style. The breakthrough came when I fed my AI assistant samples of my best writing, blog posts that had gotten great engagement, newsletter issues that sparked replies, social posts that started conversations. I asked it to analyze my writing style and identify the patterns. It noted things like how I prefer prose over bullet points, how I use historical examples to explain complex concepts, and how I'm good at breaking down technical ideas into simpler, more relatable terms. Once I built that analysis into the AI's instructions, content creation became collaborative instead of combative. This is the most surprising transformation. Over the holidays, I was driving from St. Louis to LA, and I was so frustrated. I was feeling stuck with my podcast strategy, sensing that something wasn't working, but not sure what. Instead of just stewing in that frustration, I started a strategic conversation with Clue, my AI assistant, who knows my business inside and out. Over several days, we diagnosed exactly what wasn't working. I needed a dedicated website for my AI consulting, a clear target audience beyond marketers, and a complete brand refresh. But Clue didn't just identify problems. We architected solutions together. We chose the AI Hat as the business name, developed target audience profiles, planned the podcast rebrand, and mapped out the new website structure. The whole transformation happened in 2 weeks over Christmas break while I was traveling with family. That strategic partnership with AI, having a collaborator who can process information, ask probing questions, and help you think through complex decisions, has been game-changing for my business velocity. So, here's where you are right now. You've heard the framework, you understand the principles, and you know the step-by-step process for building your first AI assistant. But before you dive into building anything, you need to know exactly where your biggest opportunities are. Because here's what I've learned from working with hundreds of solopreneurs. We're terrible at accurately estimating where our time actually goes. Remember when I mentioned that brutally honest time audit in step 1? Most people skip this step because it feels tedious, but it's absolutely critical. You can't fix a problem you can't see, and you can't prioritize your first AI assistant if you don't know which tasks are actually draining the most time. So that's why I created something to make this process simple, the Solopreneur Scalability Audit. It's a 15-minute diagnostic spread over 3 days that reveals exactly which tasks are keeping you trapped in operations instead of growing your business. This isn't guesswork or estimation. You'll get your actual numbers. You'll pinpoint your number one time vampire, the single most time-consuming repetitive task that's draining your energy. You'll calculate what I call your efficiency task, the shocking dollar amount your business loses every week because you're doing work that could be systematized. Most importantly, you'll get a clear scalability score that tells you whether your business is currently stuck, stretched, or scalable, and what that means for your growth potential. Because once you see these numbers, you can't unsee them. And that clarity becomes the foundation for building AI systems that actually move the needle. You can grab that completely free audit at theaihat.com/scalability. I'll put the link in the show notes, of course. And here's something I'd love to try. If you're listening to this on Spotify or watching on YouTube, drop a comment and let me know what you think your biggest time drain is right now. I'm curious to see how accurate your guess is compared to what the audit reveals. Or if you prefer a more direct conversation, send me a DM on Instagram, mike.allton. I read every message, and I'd be happy to give you specific direction on where to start with your first AI assistant. Here's what I want you to remember. The goal of AI isn't to replace your judgment, your creativity, or your unique perspective. It's to handle the repetitive, time-consuming tasks that prevent you from doing your best work. When you successfully build your first AI assistant, something fundamental shifts in your business. You stop being just a solopreneur who does everything yourself. You become a business architect who designs systems that work while you focus on what only you could do. That waiting room frustration I experienced, it led to this entire framework that's now helping hundreds of solopreneurs reclaim their time and scale their businesses. Your struggles with AI aren't signs that you're behind. They're the raw material for building something better. Thank you for listening to the AI Hat Podcast. Until next time, keep building systems that set you free, and welcome to the grid. That's a wrap on another episode of the AI Hat Podcast. I hope you gained some valuable insights and actionable strategies to boost your business with AI. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your network. And don't forget to visit theaihat.com for more resources and to connect with me. Until next time, keep innovating, and remember, the future of business is human and it's powered by AI.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Hennika Watkins-Porter hosts The Entrepreneurial You, empowering entrepreneurs with insights on leadership, business, and success. Hennika, tell listeners what to expect from your show.
So we provide innovative business strategies and practical solutions to common entrepreneurial challenges.
And where can people subscribe?
Find us at hennikawatkinsporter.com, as well as the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net, or search for it wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard her. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.